Hello, welcome to Cerulean Arts Gallery. Today we're speaking with Kimberly Hoechst in conjunction with her Cerulean Arts Collective exhibition, which is on view now through October 12th. Hello, Kim.
Hi, Mike.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
So let me share my screen here and we'll take a look at your show. So tell me what we're looking at here.
Okay, so we're starting on the far left. That's the piece that was on the postcard. That's entitled Manayunk Bridge, which is exactly what it is. It's the train bridge that goes into Manayunk. And for this show, when I started the painting process, I had been painting a lot of interiors, and I wanted to shift my emphasis to painting the outdoors, and painting architecture is a continual theme or genre in my work. And so I was really looking for, I live out in the suburbs, but I love city architecture and the complex, dense overlap of buildings and structures. And so that was the inspiration for a number of the paintings in the show. And some of them are real places, and some of them are sort of invented based on real places. So this is an example of one. My studio's in media, and I used architecture and media and some of the skyline as a jumping off point. But I wasn't really trying to make the painting about a street on media. I wanted it to be about that interesting, way that the roof lines overlap. And now we're at Philadelphia, and this is a place view. This is from the Rittenhouse Hotel, looking out at the city. And what I was really interested in, all three things, the thing that ties them together, is the aspect of sunlight on the architecture, light and shadow, and kind of the optimistic feelings you get even when you're in a dense, crowded space like this, that it's, the architecture looks its most beautiful and interesting. And this one is from PAFA itself, looking out at, that's Broad Street and up to City Hall. And I did like mixing in sometimes not just being outside, but as in the case of the one we just saw, and probably the one that's coming up, is also that feeling of looking out. So by using the interiors in these two examples, the one that's coming, that one as well, it puts you in the scene, or gives you a place of your own in the scene to look out at the city. So that was kind of a big aspect for this show, was focusing on city and urban architecture and all the colors. And then I also got very interested in wanting to mix it up in painting interior spaces and other types of architecture. And so I wanted to kind of bring you to a more cozy place. And that's what some of these interiors, and even this is a porch in Camden, Maine, at a big hotel. And I just wanted to make it a little more intimate instead of these bigger, more sweeping views. And so these interiors, and I don't know if we're going to see some more of them next.
Yes, let me just skip ahead here.
Okay.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah, and so again, this is just a different take on that idea of the impact of sunlight hitting architectural spaces. But again, in this case, we are inside looking out, and it's a much more cozy and intimate setting. But in all cases, I'm really trying to capture the sense of the atmosphere, kind of capture a moment in time. Sunlight is very fleeting. It changes. Everyone familiar with painting plein air says, oh, it changes every 15 minutes. And it does. But these are capturing a moment. And I think that's what, especially when I was at the opening talking to people, they say, yeah, it'll really strike me when the sun comes through this one window. And it won't last that day, but it is a very beautiful moment, very interesting. And so that was the purpose in those paintings. And then just to kind of take a third point of view about the impact of light and shadow, is I wanted to bring in just total natural setting, the landscape, and take the architecture out of it and just look at, you know, just go out into nature. And so really almost the opposite, or not almost, very much the opposite of a dense city view. But again, it's this whole scene, the meadow, the sky, everything is kind of, to me, gives you a sense of optimism and calmness, looking at, the bright sunlight, or the evening sunlight in this painting, and how it reflects on nature and the surroundings and the clouds. So that's, I called this set of paintings sunny day paintings for that reason. And all the paintings in the show kind of share a common palette and are capturing a moment in time, where the sunlight is hitting just a certain way. And that's sort of the idea in these works.
So Kim, can you tell me like how you go about creating your paintings? Are you working from studies or photographs or on the spot or a combination?
Definitely a combination. It's always my first choice to work from life, and I will, whenever possible, if I'm not know that the painting itself is going to happen in the studio, and in all these cases, that's how I had to approach it. I wasn't out on location painting these, but I like to do sketches. I take quite a few photos, so I can really kind of use those to create the painting I want. I wouldn't say any painting is just from an individual photo as it is. I just use all that information as references. And I do like to do a little bit of loose sketching just to even consider the perspective, because camera angles will look very different, especially like in tight spaces, like in an interior. So I like to get a sense for just what the perspective feels like from life, and kind of use all those materials to put together the actual painting. So it becomes a composite of kind of multiple inputs. But all these paintings were done in the studio.
And how do you transfer your imagery to the canvas? Are you drawing it directly? Do you use a grid or anything?
I draw in paint first. So I've experimented with a lot of different ways of starting, and the one that I kind of settled into that works best for me is to do that. I guess people call it imprimatura. It's a tonal wash. So picking one transparent color and covering the whole canvas, and then kind of drawing into it to figure out where things go, and also wherever there is light, you're wiping out the paint to get those lights blocked in, and then also, maybe going darker in places, so the wash kind of becomes the middle value, and that just gives me a chance to establish everything. And it's not, paintings can change a lot as I work on them, but it gives me that starting point. And I let that dry completely, so that when I come back to start putting on color, I can really have clean color, and my color's not really affected by that first step. It just gives me that kind of not a blank white canvas to start from when I'm actually bringing painting and color into the process.
And where did you learn to paint?
So I studied at PAFA extensively for over a period of years, and always, I think my first steps of learning to draw and paint was very much emphasis on understanding light and shadow to create the form. And I was just so thrilled with it. I've always stayed with representational painting, but that I developed at PAFA, and taking, as many people do here and there, master classes. And I, to this day, work with Peter Van Dyke, who is a teacher at PAFA still, and he critiques my work and helps keep me honest. But it's really great to work with someone whose opinion you trust and who will really give you objective feedback. And He's helped me go a long way in trying to get into more of, I was using very strong color earlier in my years of painting, and I've sort of tried to get my color more, my colors held more closely together to focus more on creating a sense of atmosphere. And so that's been a shift since I've been working with him over the last couple years. But really, I say, like in my artist statement, that for me, painting, the process of painting or making a painting is about taking, whether it's a fleeting vision, a memory, something from your imagination, but usually something I observe in life, and taking that to a more a tangible, more permanent and hopefully elevated place by turning that moment or memory into a painting. And that's why the emphasis on the keeping it believable and the atmosphere, and but not being afraid at the same time to invent and be creative of my own vision in the process.
Well, it's a wonderful show, Kim.
Thank you, Mike. It's a pleasure to be at the gallery.
So the show is up through October 12th. We hope people come down to see it. And everything's also available on our website, ceruleanarts.com.
Okay, yes.
Thanks again and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks for chatting with me today.